buddy.
Hey,
How
I
you doing?
was wondering, is this our 3-year anniversary?
This is our 3-year anniversary month.
The month.
So,
Okay, yeah, it
yeah,
is because
I think it's very close to the actual date, but it's the 3rd-year anniversary month.
correct. That's what I was thinking. John McGinnis. Look at all these beautiful people already. Well, I tell you, it has been some crazy fun. There's our sweetheart, Mrs. Robin Kell. Our sweetheart. I tell you what, I've been pretty excited. I haven't let the cat out of the bag, but other than you, I recently just started a really cool new job, a really good job. I had retired, but then still had some gas left in the tank, and so I just thought for me and John and some other things that we like to do that I wanted to, get back in the boat and start rowing the oars. And lo and behold, next thing I know, I would go back to work with, where I was before, but get to do some very cool things. So it's been very, very cool. And then with some of the news coming up that it looks like we're going to get our pay raise from from the fire department. So that's going to transpire. So I've been pretty blessed lately. So
what you're saying is all the beverages at the bash will be on you.
Yeah. It's been.
I think that's what I'm hearing. Robin, did you hear that? I think that's.
Yeah, Robin's like, yeah, Keith, go Keith. Yeah. So I've been pretty blessed.
Good. That's
good
great.
News got even better, and I was like, wow. But yeah. I know you've been doing well because I just look at your little happy post with the stuff on the little it's little medium stuff, and that's
yeah. I've been posting a lot of business stuff, but other than that, not really much of usually nonsense, humor nonsense. Because I've been working so much, and it's just as I can put things on. But I've missed you, and I've missed our show in the weeks that in between when we do it. But I just have kind of taken that from social media for the most part. So that's
Oh gosh, me too. I think John Ruggiero said it best today. If you saw his post, he put out a great post. So kudos to you, John, because that post hit it right on. I got to tell you. So if you haven't, go look at his post because it rocks. Speaking of rocks,
well, yeah. I mean, I thought this was the other half of the cat out of the bag thing that you were gonna.
Oh yeah.
What was? What we're
yeah, but I mean, you get people like Wes Coleman, for instance, like Wes Coleman,
Anthony,
and I know he's missed my sounds, because he's been asking other people about. I wonder when Keith's going to make that next. So anyway, yeah, but things have been going pretty scoochy, so I'm just been scooching right along. But I missed, like you said, like with you, and then all the little happy people that are in our little happy life that are on this show. So many people. I mean, just go down the list. I mean, my God, Fred Richards and these others, and Robin and Wes, and golly, so many people. But our guest tonight. So, folks, we won't. I talked with Kelly, being that she's a badass woman, and we kind of came up with an idea about having a series of badass women in the paranormal, because I'm 1000% about equality of everybody gets a spotlight, everybody gets the recognition. And so the fact of the matter is that there's so many amazing women in the paranormal that I just felt that it was time to start showcasing some of these beautiful, spirited people that need to have their time and get to just be on here and let all these amazing people that join us on the show get to know what I call an evening with. So badass women of the paranormal, an evening with, and you just get to hear them and just let them, tell us about themselves. So do you want to go ahead and make the
go ahead, bring her in.
Oh,
she's ready.
If you know this, not only beautiful and a smile that just, you could not even be having a good day and see her smile and like, okay, I'm having a better day now. And you could see, wow, because she's just such a chipper, happy, little bubbly spirit. But folks, I think without further ado, please help us welcome to the show, Miss Sabrina Pasquariello.
I told you he would do it. He would do it.
He did. Oh, you're cracking up.
So glad.
Folks, is it true? Everybody in the chat. If you believe what I just was saying to you, just take 1 second and put true. Just say what I was saying. If you heard what I said, just put true in there. How many people heard what I just said about it? And just say, yep, true.
You got me blushing, guys. You really do.
Robin's already chimed in. Wes is excited. He's already like, Jocelyn's already doing it.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
So excited.
You could come on with us. And, when Keith mentioned about this, and I didn't say this backstage, but I wanted to tell you that when he mentioned about this kind of mini series, I was so excited. And when he said you were coming on, I was extra excited because I think it's so important, aside from what I said earlier about taking a little break from social media. I think it's so important because there's so much nonsense and so many, the people who are the loudest aren't necessarily spewing the most important, educational, relevant things. And so I really think that hopefully, and my goal after he shared his idea for the series would be for us to highlight people such as yourself who do have those things to say and who can give that educational light on things. And thank you for coming on, because I think it's really important to get that relevant information out there and not necessarily, give our energy to people who are sharing the opposite. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. And, I just don't feel like one of the old people in the paranormal, even though I really haven't been around that long of people. I think it's been like 2011 or 12 I've been around. It seems longer though, but I've just seen so much transpire from when I started to what it's like now. And I've grown so much. And now that I see it in a paranormal perspective on social media, it's like I just try to take a step back at it anymore. And I want to go back to the old way. I want to where everybody on social media was showing their evidence and, showing these cool pictures. Instead, it just has been nonstop talking about other things other than the paranormal. And I think we really need to try and get back to that.
Yeah.
So I understand why you were off of social media for a little bit, and I get it.
Yeah. Well, I agree with what you were saying too. I think it is getting back to that core of support and examination and trying to assist each other and learn together and grow as a community. And I know that that's a whole
and not just a community
on its own, but as a field,
Yeah, but also with clients too. I think that just totally went to the wayside.
Yeah.
I still deal with clients. I don't deal with it as I used to, but I still have on the side. A lot of people don't know about it, but I still do consultants, and I still do, if somebody needs me to come in to help them, I'm always a call away, and I'll go out and on the weekday, and maybe a house cleansing or somebody needs help. Some of the The investigators might come over here and they might need a healing. So I've had people come over to the house to be, have a healing done on them. And it's a lot of people in the paranormal world that, have to have we all need a cleanup. So I still do that. A lot of people don't know that about me. But but that's what's fallen on the wayside. You don't hear about trying, and you don't hear about people doing cases, but when they do, I don't think a lot of it should be presented on social media anyway. You know what I mean? That's their private life, and they're especially if they're being tormented. So some people divulge on this, and this demon was running after me, and blah 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 blah, and I'm like, you know what I mean? But anyway.
I think that's really important.
Too fast. So
no, I love it. And I read Anthony's beautiful kind of preview of you in your bio, but could you share with other people a little bit about who you are, how you got started, and now that we know that you still do offer those other services, how did you get to that point?
All things Sabrina.
Yes. Okay. Well, I always was of course, in the paranormal. I had things going on, as a child, and it was a lot about spirituality. I just, I had so many questions as a kid. I was scared of death too, but I was intrigued by it. So it would always be in the cemeteries. I want to know what's going on. Where am I going to go? When my grandmother died, I was devastated. I kept on trying to talk to her. And I kept on getting messages, and I didn't understand all this. And I was even in a house that things were going on, and my aunts didn't believe me. My mother didn't believe me. At the time I really didn't tell my mother anything really, but after later on, she's like, I don't know what you're talking about, but I know it was there. Anyway, as time went on, taps came on. Now, in my time, I always thought, hey, that's for scientists and doctors. And I never thought in a million years that I could do something like that, because I would read books all the time before taps came on and try to find places that were haunted, hotels or anything, even urbexing I would do. Like Penhurst, I went as a teenager way before any of this was happening in the paranormal, way before. It was just a dead building, and everybody just went into, try to get in there, but nothing about the paranormal. Anyway, so when taps came on, I'm like, I could do this. But I was in Florida, and not a lot of paranormal groups were in Florida at the time. So once I came back to Philadelphia, New Jersey, I moved back here. I went to a library, and there was a group called South Jersey Ghost Research. They were doing a lecture at a library. And after that session, I was like 2011, 2012, I asked to join, and I filled out an application, went through a vigorous, interview. And at that point, I got pulled into it. At the same time, Taryn Kerper, she was also on the same team as me. So we came in together, and that's how I know Taryn, and that's how we've grown our relationship throughout so many years together through the group, learning through the group. I was South Jersey Ghost Research. Then I was with Sanctuary Paranormal. It was the same team, but one was for the regular cases, and then the other one was for more extreme cases, for negative cases. So during that venture and learning and mentoring through other people who were mediums in the group and all sorts of religious and spiritual people in the group, I learned so much. I learned Reiki through the group. I've got certified in Reiki. I learned mediumship and of course mentoring in the negative cases. And for about 5 years. In between the 5 years, we had another group that we would work with, and it was PCINJ. And within PCINJ came Kim and Jossie and Dana, and there was Kelly and Kim. And so we would piggyback off of like cases and things to help each other out. within that part, that's when we started hanging out on doing fun cases together, and then it grew into this women power group, and we were just all together talking about peaches. We were talking about peaches casino, eating candy, and we were just laughing hysterically. And that's where the peaches came about. And then it grew, and then Megan came. We had Megan come in and Taryn come in, and that's where the peaches were formed. So that's why we went from this group, their group, and like kind of just because we had a passion for everything, but we wanted to do some fun stuff. We did our time with the clients, but we also wanted our fun time as well. So, and that's where we just do our adventures together.
Very, very, very cool.
Yeah. But, and then, and then there's the side where I do my divine angels, and I do other things. I've been in a few books. So I talked a lot, so I don't know if you have any questions first.
I love
it. Alive.
I have to say, you had one of the most beautiful, peaceful setups with your table and all of your beautiful items when we were at Strasbourg. And it was just like this peaceful little place amidst a busy area. It was just this little peaceful zone. And I remember I looked at Beth and I was like, she has one of the most beautiful little peaceful areas over there. She's like, I know. So I loved getting to, hang out with you a little bit more there. And I just think, your mission has been so beautiful, and it's been that development from your own personal experiences through actually, which is a big core part of what I know I advocate, and I know you do too, is that educational part, going to the meeting at the library, meeting other like minds, taking classes, reputable classes, learning and growing alongside those people, so that not only are, as we know, there's strength in numbers, but you're also building that solid knowledge base before you transition to things that weren't as positive, and helping out with those sorts of things.
Yeah.
So I think that was really smart and beautiful. And have you had any particular experiences that you care to share, and they can be positive or negative, that stand out to you from the experiences that you've had?
I think, I always had some fun doing clients, in their houses. But I think the experiences that were pivotal for me were the negative cases, and it helped me realize how there's a different realm out there when you see things that you can't comprehend, and what you cannot explain to other people, especially when they're given to you, especially with skeptics.
Yeah.
I can't explain certain things that happen when they happen. It's just an energy that you feel and know that is quite different than your normal energy that you going into a haunted location, or or negative, like a room that's the changing of energy. It's just I can't even, it's just so hard to explain unless you're in it. You know what I mean? And when I was doing a couple negative cases, I remember my friend Kim Pasek from South Jersey Ghost Research. She was also involved in the negative cases. And I remember seeing something, and I'm like, oh, look at that. I was new. I was mentoring. Oh, look at that. She's like, shh, it was meant for you, but you're not allowed to say anything. You can't, don't give it energy. I've learned so much more through these cases than I did. And I realized how much I have God on my hands, and the angels, and how powerful they really are, how large they really are. And, it doesn't matter if you go to like Catholic, church, or you're this or that. If you were given that calling, You take that calling and you add to anything down for every day of your entire life. So I want to tell you like some cases, but I don't want to put that energy out there.
Sure.
I need to let you know that it really is real. From the cases that I had to deal with, they are really real. I had James Anito join with me on a couple of cases, and that's how we connected. He helped me out. I helped him out. So throughout the years prior to before, I guess about 2015 on, so we bounced back off each other. Jeff Leeper as well. I mean, we all the old ones all kind of stay in that shell where, you know, we really don't divulge on the back end of things. We let you know that, hey, we understand this and we try to help these people and their torment, but we don't gloat about it. We don't go out there and expose these people and for what they're going through. You know?
Yeah. And I was going to ask you, you know, kind of based on the way the world has been right now with your clients that you see, the people that come to you for different modes of healing, even for, you know, how Reiki feels right now. Are there any changes that you're feeling, you know, maybe due to the global scale of things? Like, are you noticing changes with your clients and in your sessions?
Well, I do notice just going down the street,
Right.
You know, so how even going where I have to work in Philadelphia, so I have to go through a train, I have to go through people, I have to, you know, and I feel the difference between people versus I would say pre-COVID, you know what I mean? The shift, but also in people with healing work. I do IET along with Reiki. So I, you know, invoke angels in with the type of work I do. And it's basically kind of like meridians that I'm kind of touching on, almost like acupuncture, and I kind of deal with their energies. But I would say that not a lot of too much negativity, but more anxiety, like more, well, that's kind of negative too in a sense, but you know, everybody's like on edge. So I have to pull a lot of that off. I do more clients that are in the paranormal, because sometimes they might maybe they just let their guard down and they're in, you know, in like maybe Penhurst or maybe somewhere where they're just so used to going that they think nothing of it, and they just get so much mud on them. I call it mud, and we try to pull that off. You know, as far as prior to now, probably just like everybody's buzzing. So, you know, everybody is really buzzing. But I also think a lot of people are trying to get in touch more of their spirituality now than it was before. But everybody still is also dabbling in a lot more as well than before. So it just depends on the person, really.
Yeah. Oh, well, and it's funny that you use the word buzzing, because that really is what it is. Some days it just feels like you're just walking in, like you're constantly being like shocked with static electricity. It is that buzzing feeling. Oh, there's Dana. Robin would like to know where the wildest place is that you've ever been.
The wildest place?
Private places or public places? Your choice.
Well, the wildest place I probably have been is, God, that's a tough one. There's so many good places. I mean, they just ramble on through my head because I always have a wild moment in each different one, especially like Penhurst, you know, like Penhurst was wild, not just because of something going on. You know, I say this on a couple other podcasts. Is one time I had to help, you know, the owner out and do you know, they were in there doing their investigation, and I had to close up Penhurst and the fog rolled in, and I was the only one there, nobody else. So I had to go and make sure all the doors were locked. And that is probably the wildest and scariest moment I've ever been in. I wasn't even investigating. I was just closing the place down, but it was so scary alone with nobody around. So
Okay.
I have to say that's probably the scariest, most wildest moment that I've had. Yeah. The other wildest is probably Soma Mansion. I go there a lot, but the wildest is probably when my daughter was with me, and there was a tea party that they were having, and I was doing my singing bowls, the crystal bowls, and I had them upstairs. I just told Stacy this. I think she's still on the other day, and there was a reader in one room, a reader in another. My daughter was with a friend, and I went in to see the reader. And all of a sudden, while everybody's downstairs having their tea, I hear my bowls go off. My bowl went off. I'm like, okay, well, maybe my daughter's trying to show, the friend on how to do the bowls because she knows how to do them. Mm-hmm. Well, here I hear running up the steps, the other reader from the room and my daughter and the girl came in looking for me, and they saw me and their faces were like shocked. She's like, that wasn't you doing the bowls? I'm like, no, I thought you were doing the bowls. And Nicole, who was the reader, she saw that there was nobody in there and the bowl was going off. Wow. And so she started to step over that threshold and the bowl just stopped completely. And everybody in Selma downstairs doing the tea is like, who's playing the bowls? Who's playing the bowls? So that has to be probably by far the wildest thing, because I was physically there. Uh-huh. And, there was witnesses to a bowl that could not have that it couldn't happen. Right. That's one of those things where you wish you had your camera up, but you didn't.
Yeah. Well, and if you did, it probably wouldn't have happened anyhow. Yeah.
Wow.
Tonight I'll go over and hear all these different places that I wish I would have rang off and said, but but those are the ones that pop up in my mind really quickly.
Yeah.
Hey, Sabrina, do you know Maggie Dunn?
Yes, I do very much. She was with South Jersey Ghost Research.
She has down that, yes, you helped me at Penthurst.
Yes.
And that she's learned a lot from you. So I think that's so sweet when you get, you talked about that you had been mentored and so forth. Mm-hmm. And then you've came full circle to now, not only are you helping people, but you have people that are saying, wow, you really helped me in my life. I think that's beautiful. Mm-hmm. That's just when you've really kind of arrived at a woosah.
Yeah.
A beautiful thing.
Yeah, Maggie, she got hit pretty hard at Penthurst, and just trying to teach her psychic protection and all. And Penthurst is kind of hard to go and ground somebody. So you got to pull them out. You got to do things that unconventional. Usually, could just go to a tree and ground. Penthurst, you can't really do that. It's just the ground itself is bad. So not bad. You know what I mean? It's just not good. Just the ground. So you have to get the Reiki out. You have to get the selenite out. You got to get all different things in order to help people in certain areas and situations. So yeah.
She calls you an earth angel. Down as an earth angel. I agree about Penthurst. Probably one of the most beautiful. And I was at the Penthurst, one of the first ones that Bob and Gina had an event there, their their event. And so we were in one of the buildings with about 9 other people besides myself. So about a big group of us, because there were big groups. And we went into one of the rooms, and I said, this seems like a good area. So we started setting up some equipment, had a grid out, had everything ready, and had the Phasma box set up. And boy, the next thing I know, I just started off, well, my name's Keith, and we introduced ourselves. Is there someone here that would like to visit with us? And this spirit's name was Gina. She said, hi, my name's Gina. And for 20 minutes, now there were 9 other people that witnessed this. And I got to keep from crying when I say this.
Oh.
We would ask questions and she was like, yes, I do. And just would respond and respond. And then we had our EDIs out and she was just pegging these out, just like
Oh,
having
wow.
fun with them. I says, do you like some of my, I called them toys at the time. She says, I do. And all of a sudden it got kind of quiet and she goes, it's my birthday. And we were like, oh. So guess what we did? We sang her happy birthday. I don't think there was a dry eye in the room.
Oh.
We were all just like, oh my God, this is just so amazing. And it was done. And then she was like, you just heard this very quiet kind of, thank you. And you got to think, here's this beautiful spirit that has passed, that apparently she had worked there.
Mm-hmm.
And no one, I guess, it obviously comes to visit her. But then when we did, that was the least we could do. And it just, it was an emotion, probably one of the most beautiful times I've had, when it was something so amazing that was just, we all, even John was like, boy, that was, that was a tough one. Because it was just, it was beautiful. I mean,
Penhurst is an amazing place, and
it
has a special place in my heart because, like, my grandfather was in Byberry. I don't know if you know Byberry, but he was, a patient at Byberry. So I have a soft spot for those type of the asylums. I really do, because I just know their mindset. I know they're tormented, and I know they were tormented so badly, both physically, mentally, emotionally. It pains me. So I do have a soft spot for those type of places.
It seems like you can feel that when you walk through there, of the sorrow that tends to emit from some of those places that you just feel, and you almost can, it's like you like, help me, like they didn't deserve some of the treatments but sadly back in those times the resources were so limited that people were shoved away in those places, and their mental health, it was nothing. It was just put them away. And they sit there in their own sadness and their own hell just until they died. And how sad is that, but I think about it, it just makes you want to cry.
It's a tangible thing too. I mean, like all of the history of that place, they always say, it was so loud. It was such a loud place. But now you can go there. And I only recently, and this was just an observation I had when I was assisting with a camp, with teen camp, I believe it was last summer. I looked at Jody and I was like, you can finally hear the birds. Like for so many years of going there, you couldn't hear just a pin drop. It was just so quiet. It was eerily quiet. Yeah. And then now, as things are starting to be taken back over by the land and they're making some, restorative changes, you can hear birds again. And I just noticed that. And that's what I think the goal is for any place, really. But it's so unique because it does have an energy all its own, and it's so tangible. You can truly feel it. Is there a place that you haven't been to, Sabrina, that you'd like to go to?
There is. There's one that I would like to go to, the Knickerbocker.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Yeah. I've always had the opportunity to go, but they always had something going on at the time throughout the years when our group was going. And I just always missed this one. I heard so many things about the Knickerbocker. So that's one on the list. Let me see. What else would I like to go to? I haven't been to Waverly Hills. And I haven't been to like Myrtle's plantation. Now, Anthony is telling me that he's going to take me someday soon. So I want to go to Myrtle's plantation. That's like really up there on the list of things to go to. But I mean, there's always plenty of places I'm going to go to. But,
sure.
Those are like, the ones, especially the Knickerbocker, because I was always disappointed I could never get to go. And everybody swears up and down how crazy that place
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
So, but I've been to some pretty cool spots,
Yeah.
and did some events, and I don't know, I think, I do the psychic fair for Selma Mansion. So this will
Yes.
be our 6th year. We're going to do it again.
Oh,
Like,
that's wonderful.
unfortunately, when Bill Freeman had passed, we all took a hit pretty hard. So we let that year go, and it was more for him to celebrate his life, and so we figure we'll just not do the psychic fair. And then, of course, when we were going to do it again, but me and Anthony had our hand fasting, so I didn't want to be so involved in all these different things, and it would have been just a nightmare.
Yeah,
We do
sure.
have the ball rolling, and so
Aw.
the psychic fair is going to be at Selma Mansion on September 21st. So we're really excited. This will be our 6th, annual one. We
Aw.
get a lot of vendors, we get a lot of readers, and we pull in pretty good amount of money for Selma Mansion. I mean, the last ones we have the air conditioner, we have the heater, this money really is bringing a lot to Selma Mansion. So now that we have the heater, we can have investigations on the
Oh,
winner and
Uh-huh.
the winner. So, and it's all because of the events that Bill did and the psychic fair, and I couldn't be happy for Selma. So I'm pretty excited to for that event. And the bash, we got the bash coming up, and we have Penhurst coming up.
Yes.
The Penhurst, every year I've done it with Gina and Bob with Ghostly Adventures. I mean, Ghost Adventures. Sorry, Mom.
Oh,
And so I've been doing that all the years with them,
uh-huh.
and so I'm excited to get back in there again. Gosh.
Oh, that'll be so much fun. And with the springtime coming up, I think we'll even see more events pop up as we get closer and the weather gets nicer. And that's so exciting that you now can do investigations in Selma in the wintertime. If you have not been to Selma, people in the chat, make sure that you go, because it's another really, really cool place. And we've received some very, very intriguing pieces of evidence there. So
that's where my bowl went.
That's right. Yeah.
Hey, Sabrina, do you ever get to work with John Covey?
Yes. Well, actually, John Covey has always been supportive of Selma. He's been our reader. Him and his mother come every year to the Selma Psychic Fair and other events too. I don't think I don't think, John, we've investigated with each other, but we have, worked side by side as far as like he'll be doing readings and he'll see me and doing my healing work. With Anthony, I have to put a big shout out for Anthony, because he does help me when he's with me working and healing. Let me just tell you, it's crazy energy coming from both of us. So, whoever gets it with both me and Anthony is just like, we'll just like smash everything. And it's amazing when we have when we do it together.
John Covey's a happy little soul. I got to, I guess last year at the bash, I think it was, but just spend a little time talking with him, and he's always been a happy little person, and that's always been so very cool. So, can
you give people like an idea of when they have a session with you, like you're talking about, like a healing session. I know it's individualized to what that person needs, and so that can change a bit depending on what modality you're using and things like that. But could you give people kind of an idea of what you're offering or what you do?
What I do is basically I intertwine. I've learned Reiki through my mentor in South Jersey Ghost Research. She taught me a lot of the mediumship and everything with that. And I never knew I had, before. I didn't know I had, certain abilities that I could utilize. Now, I did readings too, but I always felt like my mat was healing. I just felt drawn to healing more than readings. I could do readings, but that was just my thing. Usually when I have a client come to me, I usually let them know, of course, I'm going to be touching them, obviously, because IET is more touch than Reiki. Reiki, you don't really have to touch, but IET, I do. And I absolutely love IET. But I usually kind of have a feel for them. I have a little talk. I usually will have a message after I don't do my healing. I let them know that sometimes it might be when I'm healing, I'm either going to feel something either spiritual or maybe it's something physical. Everybody is different. I don't, they're there for a reason, and I'm trying to find out. And it seems like it's a reading every time, because a lot of them won't tell you what's going on. They just, they just want to get on your table and just feel, get some energy through them and help them. So usually they will lie down on the table. I usually have some not incense, like oils, depending on what they want. I might have lavender, I might have frankincense. So they'll tell me, and I'll have like a little swab. They do lie on, if I have electric, which is most of the time I do, I have a mat, a PEMF mat. So I'll have the obsidian, it'll be heated up, but I have the crystals in it to give them a little bit more oomph in their healing. So I have this obsidian, the amethyst, and the quartz. So that'll be in there for them just to get through their system, so I can't explain them. I don't know why I'm having a brain fart right now, but I can't articulate the words, but it does help them. And then usually the session runs about 30 minutes, sometimes longer, it depending on the person. Usually I will feel where their aches and pains are, or if there's an attachment, and usually I will work my magic on that. Either it's Reiki. Usually the Reiki, I'm usually doing attachments. Usually I'm pulling off with the Reiki. Sometimes I'll use, my guides to help me. And then really I ground them afterward. I have them pull a card usually afterward, because I have these angel cards. And usually I'll see something or I'll have a message, but most of the time I love hearing them tell me what they saw, like the images, the colors, and it kind of intertwine what we see, and then we kind of have like a little reading afterwards. So I do a lot.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot. Well, that's beautiful. Oh,
I'm sorry, I kind of like flashy here. So I hopefully, I don't know why I'm sweating. I'm having a hot flash.
Oh. And Anthony, thank you for adding your insight to that as well. So it really sounds like overall a very, very peaceful experience. And I hope that those who go to your next events where you're offering that, make sure to check it out. And you have just the most beautiful, peaceful little space, like I said. So make sure that you go.
I try to put the bubble around it. So, so you probably feel in that, bubble.
Right. Well, Wes has a good question for you. He asks, have you ever done Reiki on someone where you felt like you needed a cleansing after?
That I needed cleansing? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Because a lot of some of the energy work, especially if I'm on a case that I have to do something with utilizing prayers, or I have done the exorcism prayer on quite a few people, so I had to open up that book and do quite a few prayers over, and then of course doing whatever I'm pulling off of them, utilizing Reiki and utilizing, just like pulling off whatever is attached to them. So absolutely. And, every single time really, if I'm doing an event and I am doing a bunch of healing work, I will automatically go afterward, take my shower, do my cleansing, do a ritual. So yeah, absolutely, especially a negative case, Boy, I'm pretty much showering right out the door of their house.
Yeah.
Wow.
Doing the whole thing where you take extra clothes. I do that. You just change clothes.
Even that,
Anything that's
yeah.
touching you. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I put them right in the shower,
Yeah.
the laundry,
Yeah.
and wash them right away. Even my car, like there's things that I do for getting home,
Yeah.
safely. There's so much. I could go on for hours about cases and psychic protection and about negative cases and everything. And be honest. To be honest, Wes, I've been on the other side of that fence, unfortunately. So I had, a period in my time in the group that I was afflicted and I had issues. So I was on that. I was the client, So, unfortunately, it does happen when you're working in this field that you yourself have to be taken care of by other people, So, yeah.
And to anybody who's in the chat, who's interested in seeing you at a location or an event, how do they follow you and find your prices for sessions and learn where you're going to be and all those fun things?
Prices for sessions. It's so hard. I hate charging people. I really do, but I have to in events. But usually I run around maybe $40. And usually, at the event, I will post something up on, my site. I have a Divine Angels on Facebook, but most of the time I use my personal page. I think everybody kind of knows where I am. So they usually private message me and I'll write them in the book. I don't have a private space. I do have a section in my room. And like I said, the people I know personally will come over and I'll help them. So, I allow them in my place. I wish I had a private space. I really do. But otherwise, I'm a mobile. I'm a mobile healer.
Aww. She's coming to you, basically.
Yeah.
Aww.
One day, hopefully, when things go the right way, I could find a space. But we rent a condo, so it's so hard to have a private space,
Right. That's a very public area to have people coming and going all the time. I understand.
Yeah.
Anthony said we will get there, so
we will get there.
I got a feeling that this Anthony guy really likes you, or he's
He is amazing. He is so supportive. I couldn't ask for a better partner, husband. He is just absolutely amazing. He's just, gosh, I can't say so much about him. I wish that's another, podcast. Just on him alone, because he really is supportive. He's so spiritual in his own right. So we are just mold together when it comes to doing this kind of work too. Yeah.
I like the fact that you speak of angels with your work, because in so much of what people do in the paranormal, they tend to take that component out of it and say, well, I'm just doing this from this energy over here. And I'm like, but where are you saying from the earth? Are you saying from this tree or this bird? You go right out and say, no, it's from my angels. And that right there is enough to really feel that you've got some backing, because what higher authority do you come from but such love and peace than angels? I know I've had my experiences with angels at a very young age, but I do know that some of my loved ones, my grandmother and my brother and so many other people that are there now, when I speak to them, speak of the beauty of where they're at in heaven. And I can just fathom that if you have such a beautiful place with beautiful creatures of these angels that come and are there for us in our darkest hour,
Mm-hmm.
And that's got to bring you a peace that just envelops just, and it, you know, I applaud you for that very much so, because that's so beautiful to think that you call on those angels to help people that are just at their darkest space in their life ever.
Mm-hmm.
And that you say it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And that's the things they need to hear. So kudos to you.
The IET with there's different angels and of course the colors. So when I'm actually, if in whatever I'm doing, they're going to tell me at the end what color they see. So it'll be like the green, and these are these angel colors, like Saint Archangel Michael and Raphael, and so they're seeing the colors, and I'm not really telling them who I'm bringing in, or what I'm touching. They're always, a lot of times they see purple. I'm like, when their area is the crown and this area where they're all filled up and you're trying to pull off, and their pressure. I'm feeling the pressure, and I'm seeing purple. I'm like, how am I supposed to dispute what they're feeling and the colors they're seeing and the symbols or whatever they might feel their family member. It really depends, but it's like, you just gotta love them. You gotta love those angels, especially when I'm doing the cases. I'll never forget the time I was, there was a case and the whole house was filling up with smoke. I'm like, there is no fire, right? And I'm praying. I'm sitting there praying, and the woman, now she's a pagan woman, she's not Catholic, you know what I mean? But of course, she believes in archangels because pagans will, well, that's another story. Anyway, so she's there, and she's looking, and she said, Archangel Michael is literally over you, and his wings are just so he's so large, and he's so over you, like protecting you like this. So I mean, there's no doubt that they're out there and they're protecting you, whether it's doing your cases, or it's doing healing, or it's just getting up in the morning and you're thanking them for you being alive, and they're right there saying you're welcome. You know what I mean? So
I agree.
Yeah. Sabrina, one more question for you. For those in the chat who are maybe new to investigation or new to energy work or anything, in the vast array of some of the things that you do, could you give everybody who's new and interested a tip or two into how to begin safely?
If it comes down to investigations, I would definitely 100% start with learning psychic protection before you do, anything. Get those books, get a mentor. There are so many out there that are really good. They will, but I've learned a lot through some of the greatest books out there. And I could definitely, if you want to reach out to me, I could definitely give you a list of certain books if you would like to know them. Also, just, also when you're doing investigations and you're going into a group, just, see how long they've been around too. You want to make sure that they're reputable. You don't want to go into somebody who just started out. You don't want to go headstrong into say, oh, there's a negative case. Let's go. I read a book. I'm a demonologist now. You just want to make sure, you just want to do your homework before you go and do investigations. If you want to do healing work and mediumship and readings, it takes years to understand all that. You just don't pick up a book and you're a medium and buy a tarot card. It just doesn't work that way. Even if you are if you always had those gifts too, and you're just like, all right, I'm just going to make money. I know these. I don't know anything, but I'm going to learn. You still got to protect yourself. You still got to learn. These kids nowadays, they don't know what they're getting into, and then they wind up they're getting hurt, spiritually hurt. You know what I mean? They don't know what, and they're running into problems. So I would say a good mentor, books, and then also just keep learning, listening, learning, and just do your homework and see who's reputable versus who's just doing this for shits and giggles. Sorry.
Hey, you can say whatever you want here. Yeah.
There are so many people with books. Like all right, I got this person here, like, you're reading books, like Rick Secker. I've been reading 2 of his books. But this one, it's Jeff Leeper's. Some of these people who wrote these books, the older people, you want to read their books. I'm in that too. So I'm plugging myself.
But there's something to be said in that. And that's something that, Keith and I have noticed for different events that we've attended. And it's just amazing because we're looking at some of the people who have such seasoned careers and experiences and knowledge bases. And, not all of that is captured on film on the internet. So those reputable people who are writing those books or hosting those workshops or having those events where you can go and truly learn things, go do that. I'm so glad you suggested that. I highly support what you're saying because that's exactly something that we talked about as well.
A lot of people on here, I know Maggie has had the same mentor. Beth, me and Beth were all throughout the years, we're in the same mentor class. So, and look where Beth is now too. You know what I mean? She's an amazing, amazing medium, and she does and healer, and she has her own space. She's incredible. There's a lot of us out there.
Yeah. Oh, and we are so grateful, Sabrina, that you decided to come on with us tonight. And thanks for kicking off our series of Badass Women.
I'm so humbled, and I'm just, I'm through the moon that you asked me. I'm really humbled that you did. Thank you.
How do people get a hold of you if they're like, oh my God, I've just come across or watch a show, I got to see Sabrina? How do they reach out and get a hold of you if they'd like to just ask you questions? What are the ways?
Definitely. Just get right on my my private, Sabrina Pasquariello page. You just hit me up on that messenger, and I'm always there. It's always open. If anybody has a problem as far as any spiritual issues, anything with their home, I've been doing this for a long time, and like I said, not a lot of people know about it because I don't advertise unless the universe has to give it to me, because I'm not going chasing after it. And that's one of the big problems that people do. They go chasing after it. I live by like John Zafish, they come to him. If it's meant to be, it was given to him to take care of. And that's how I view things.
Yeah.
Amen.
So private Facebook message, Sabrina. And you said you have a business page as well?
I do. I'm really bad at it. So I'm going to be honest. I might flaws, you know what I mean? I do have a Divine Angels page. I always seem to forget about it for some reason. So it's my issue. So
Maggie asked what Jeff's book title is.
Oh, yeah, Jeff, The Carpenter's Hammer. So it's The Carpenter's Hammer, and my issues that I had, Maggie, when I was falling, that information was in there. So that learning experience from what I had my dealings with is in there. So I'll send you a message if you want me to.
Well, Jocelyn Cummings said, awesome podcast. And like Kelly was saying, our podcasts are driven by the beautiful guests that we have on here. And for you to be the first badass woman of the paranormal in a series, Kelly can tell you. I'll just put this out there. When we ask people to come to this show, it's because, number one, you are of love and light. So you're somebody that's a beautiful spirit. and you're somebody that we know that other people love and respect, and that's just something we take serious. So having you on here means a lot to us, as much as you're excited and the fun and get to be on here. So it's such a beautiful chemistry that's what makes this show so successful.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Look at all the beautiful people. Hi, Sabrina. Hi, Sabrina.
Yeah.
Hi, Sabrina.
Aw.
Yeah, so great stuff.
Well, I think we will just end with all three of us tonight then and say goodnight all together. And thank you again for joining us. If you want to find Sabrina, look on her Facebook page. And she said it's okay to send her a private message, so that's good as well. And if you have any suggestions or referrals for a badass woman in the paranormal, you can send our show page a message with your idea and the contact for that person. And we will be back in 2 weeks with our next special guest. One more time, thanks, Sabrina, for coming on.
You're very welcome. Thank you, everyone. Love you all.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.